Well, I don't know. Send him a message.
I think it will start, like, it is on a little bit of a delay on YouTube, so. He might be ended already.
Okay, here it goes. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
That's what
Thank you. We were just watching the end of your show there. Appreciate you hopping off there. We got a whole hour to fill, so I wasn't too concerned about you jumping in there. This is exciting, though. And just so everybody knows, this is the third episode of Babecast. Welcome, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, viewers. Welcome, anybody just through the Voluntary Virtues Network on Facebook. Appreciate you guys coming out. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about, and you know, we're not going to bring her out yet, but we've got a very, very special guest for this episode. That some of you may know who I'm talking about if you're friends with us on Facebook. You've definitely seen her sweet face already, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Like we were telling you guys last week, this is our new time slot on Mondays, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We're working on the website right before we got started here. It's not running yet. I got to get on the horn with here and figure out a few things, but that will be coming hopefully before this whole July premiere thing. So we're trying to get that together. As you can see, we've got our little logo. Let's see, down here next to Annie.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to change. It's kind of the thank you, sweetheart. It's kind of just a rough thing that I've thrown together and had to put into a bunch of different sizes now. As this figured out, I'm going to work on that a little bit more so our website's nice and flashy. What's that?
What is the July premiere? I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked because Voluntary Virtues Network apparently launches July 1st. I guess this has sort of been like a beta run leading up to the, and you know that's good for us because we're getting practice in here. I've seen, you know, there's a lot of really good communication going on in the particularly the Facebook page, just with people helping each other out with quality. Speaking of audio quality, let me know how we sound, guys. I'm thinking we sound a little than we did last week. You might not have to crank up your volume this time. So, but Corey Moore told us to go ahead and just eat the mic. I still feel a little weird getting this close, but it does sound really good. You know, so anyway, just anybody else that's on the Voluntary Virtues Network they're doing shows and stuff like this, like, you know, please, you know, chat out with each other. If you're watching somebody else's show, you know, give them the constructive criticism. Don't be a jerk about it, but let them know. And I think this thing is going to be a beautiful thing here in a few months. But, you know, by the end of the summer, this is going to be one of the biggest networks. So I'm pretty excited. Babecast guarantee on that. So I guess, you know, what's changed since last week? Not a whole lot. There's been a few things in the news that I want to bring up here in a little bit. Annie and I, we had a nice long Saturday again, running around looking at our possible wedding venues. That was kind of an experience, wasn't it, sweetheart?
Yes, it is tiring and long days looking at these places.
And I think at this point we have like our top 2 picks, and we're kind of just like, I guess, I don't know. We should probably go look at like a couple more, or what do you think? Where are we at? I mean, one place lets us kind of have free range and do whatever we want. We can, you know, we've got this idea that we want to bring in our own craft beers. We're kind of beer snobs, so a lot of these places that are like, no, you must buy off of our menu, they kind of get written off right off the bat. So, you know, and we're peace-loving anarchists, and we want to have a peaceful, loving darkest wedding.
Yeah.
So, um, that'll be good. And man, I have to buy. I feel like I want to talk about a special person that will be coming to our wedding, a one-man band, if you will. I don't want to bring it up yet though. So
Yeah, let's wait till we have it firmed up.
yeah, okay. It's very exciting.
Yes, we're gonna have the Liberty presence at our wedding for sure.
Yeah.
Friends and maybe whoever marries us, we will.
Oh, yeah. That's another secret surprise we'll have to announce once we actually get those plans solidified too. And man, it was hard. We Izzy on Saturday. Oh, okay. So this was Sunday. We were all running around, and I felt terrible being away all day long from our brand new Kitteh. We got officially home to us on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just the sweetest little cat. I guess, what did we decide? She's like 10 weeks, 14 weeks, something like that.
I think about 8 weeks, maybe 9.
Right, she'll be 3 months in July.
Mm-hmm.
So that we just know that because we are able to go her rabies shots. That's the last of her shots. So.
Mm-hmm. She was all drugged up when we brought her home, so she was playing and then falling asleep and playing and falling asleep again.
She was falling asleep while playing, so it was pretty funny to watch a little drugged up kitty. She is this dangly ball thing in her her little cave was the most exciting thing in the world. For pictures of that, just go to my Facebook page and scroll through, and you will see here. Speaking of Facebook pages, I keep meaning to give you an opportunity to, Annie, to give out your Twitter handle if you want, or maybe I'm not sure what social networking thing you'd like to use with this. Maybe we just need to do a Babecast Twitter page that we can both access or something.
Yeah, I don't use much anymore. I do use Instagram, and I don't even know how to spell out my Instagram. Has a lot of N's in it, and I always forget how many. But you can find me on Facebook. It's just Annie Catherine, and that's pretty much all I use, that and Instagram. I was very active in Twitter when I had a job that allowed me to be behind a desk all day. But I don't do that anymore, and so I never.
Okay, well, tweeting a little bit here and there. Follow me. It's Fox08. But some of you might already have me as G Rizzle on there, but was that even? Yeah, it was G Rizzle _08. So I just changed it to G Fox 08 to make it a little bit more simple. But yeah, once we get the website up and running, I definitely just up the working thing for that both you and I can log into and share with everybody. I'd like to keep in touch with anybody that is actually watching this. What do you guys like? What do you not like? What can we change? Do you enjoy these little stories about our personal life? Or, I mean, this, I guess, is kind of turned into a personality show, right? We're not really going over news of the day. Everybody's doing that. You can go to any one of these libertarian podcasts or even some of these other shows on there. It's like we don't want to just kind of sit here and go over articles and news that we're reading, even though I have 2 I want to bring up today. But we want to kind of bring the fun back into the liberty movement, not be so serious and humglum all the time. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there that gets plenty of attention, but none of the fun, awesome stuff is really getting any attention. On that note, one of the first things that I did want to bring up, is this. I don't know, Annie, if you've had a chance to read this article or not yet. I think it would have helped if I sent it to you. Some of you guys might have heard about this already. Tesla has made all of this open source and won't sue anybody for using their technology, which is, to me, just a very, very, I don't want to say progressive thing to do, not like progressive in the political sense, but just a very it's just a very cool thing to do to help the technology spread. See, originally, after looking into this some more, the Tesla car. It's an electric car that just has like the best specs you could ever imagine. I mean, these cars, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos of this, babe, but I mean, they're beating Corvettes, and I believe they beat a Dodge Viper, which, that's a 10-cylinder, it's a V10 muscle car. I mean, those things are nasty. And then here comes this electric car, like just, it's getting up to 90 miles per hour by the time this thing gets up to, 60 miles per hour. It's pretty exciting stuff. And originally, the company was hiding patents. They didn't want the big auto dealership or auto companies, like the Fords and the GMs and all that. They didn't want them to just copy their technology and then make all the money off of it because everybody recognizes this brand name. And so, I guess I don't know if you've heard recently. I think this was actually up in Jersey, your hometown, where they put a stop to Tesla selling directly to consumers.
Okay, I have heard about this.
They didn't want to do the whole dealership thing where they're just a MSRP and then they jack up the price and then sell it to you. They wanted to cut out that middleman, which is pretty cool. It's like instead of going to the grocery store to get your meat, you go directly to the butcher and you can watch him slice it off the critter or whatever it is you're going in for, and it's fresh and it's coming straight to you and you're getting the best bang for your buck. And so I think that this is an amazing them to be anybody. Now, okay, there is some stipulations though. It does say allow anybody to use it in good faith. So, I guess there is some things that are left to the discretion of Tesla. Yeah, open to interpretation. Yes, that's an even better way to put it. But at the same time, it's really good for any smaller startup companies that want to get in here. I mean, like there's a lot of people are building their own electric cars. I mean, even at PorcFest, the first year we went there, we saw somebody who had a solar-powered car. Granted, it only went up to 25 per hour.
Go-kart.
It literally looked like it almost looked like a one-person sauna on wheels. You ever seen those where you get into like the little thing and it's a sauna for one person, but it was really neat. It went about as fast as a golf cart, and I mean it was tagged. You had it on the road and everything. It's just I believe he had to stay in the slow lane, something along those lines. But you engineer something like that in his backyard or his garage to be able to have access to these awesome systems that the Tesla company is using is just an amazing thing. I mean, I wish I'd love it if NASA would be like this. Seeing their brother can build a rocket ship.
No.
We'll get there. The private space industry
I don't
is going to
think
get
that government agencies look too kindly on that.
I keep forgetting NASA's a government agency.
But I was going to ask, do you know how much a Tesla car runs? Like how much it costs to get
Off the top of my head, no, but it was a pretty penny. I think it was in the 75,000.
Okay.
So it's up there, not quite 100,000, but I might even be a little off. It might have been a little bit more than that. So.
But having the patents released is probably going to cause a drop in the price. So like, people start making electric cars, and we're looking at 10 years down the road, we'll be able to afford one.
Oh,
maybe
sure.
even less than that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to like the Chevy Volt and stuff out there. There's a lot of those like back and forth. Like it has a fuel tank on it. It can run off of gas, but you can also get like flip a switch and power, which is neat too. Because obviously, if you don't have a charging station between Maryland and Rhode Island or do something, to switch, maybe switch over to gas, but. I feel like obviously I don't know if you've noticed this before. If you go into a parking garage now, they have the little parking spots where you can plug in your car.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool, and they're always reserved for people who use these electric cars. And I'm not even going to get into all the environmental benefits and all that stuff. I mean, it's.
But did those not compare to Tesla cars? Like, what sets Tesla cars apart from the Chevy Volt or the other?
My favorite thing in the world.
What?
Efficiency.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Well, it's better performance. It it literally comes down to the point where they can do more with a watt than these other cars can. Like I just noticed this right here at the bottom of the article that I'm referring to. I just got to read this last paragraph here. It says Tesla sees its competition not as other electric cars, but as all the millions of gasoline cars they're trying to replace. They feel they can't possibly do that by themselves, so might as well give a hand to their allies by sharing the technology. And like it makes sense, and it does make a lot of sense. It's kind of like, um, Terran Lupo. Anybody that wants to check this guy out, go to Lupo Lit. He Pirates of Savannah. I think the guy is actually Brit. He always hosts a party at PorcFest and everything. Just a lot of fun. You can hear him and Brian Hagan every like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Ron Paul Radio doing the Liberty Cats. Great show. A lot of fun to listen to. But anyway, he's always said like all of his books have been put out. I don't even want to say Creative Commons. I'm not positive, but they're not copyrighted. And I know copyright and patents, they work a little bit differently, but just follow with me. He gets asked the question, why, what is it that you're preventing from just copying your work, putting their name on it, copywriting it, and getting all the royalties, getting all the money from said book that he spent all his time working on. And I think he's always had the best answer for it, because if somebody does do that, the fans, the people that have been around there, since the beginning, they would know this was Terran. Like, you did this. You didn't build that. They're going to sound like Obama or whatever. And it also, in the same sense, can help share it, because people don't have to purchase it. You can purchase it, or you can download it for free and donate some money. And you can share it with people. It just gets the name out there. It spreads it out more. Like, I'd rather, if I write something or if I build something, say I build a little trinket for your desk. It's a little fun thing to play with. And I release the, if I 3D print something like that, and then I release the code online, I don't, care if somebody downloads that code, prints out the same trinket, and has it on their desk to play with. Like, that's awesome. Cool. Share it with your friends. Print one out for them too.
What if they started making them in mass and selling them? Would you be
That
pissed?
would be incredibly irritating, and that's when I would show, like, here is the STL file that I created on my computer. All you guys that are paying for this from this guy have been duped. But at the same time, all he's got to do is go take it and make a small modification to it, or plant his little logo on it, and then it's him. And you know what? Good. The guy's a jerk. I hope he, fine. If you want to go get rich off of, who are we kidding? They're not going to get rich off of some little desktop trinket. But I get what you're saying, and I think that's one of the most important things about, like, really owning what you do. Don't share it until you're ready. Keep stuff encrypted on your computer when you're collaborating with other people. Just make sure you're doing it privately, and don't share it until you're ready. I hear a lot of graphic designers get kind of screwed because they'll share the I can't even remember the file extension now, but basically they share the files that allow people to open it up in Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape or GIMP, the two open source versions of those programs, and they'll share those files with somebody to say, hey, what do you think of this? Like this, like, how can we modify it? And then, all this, hear from this person again, because you gave them the version of the file that they can manipulate and change it themselves if they actually know how to do that. So it would always be a good idea to export it as some sort of a bitmap or a JPEG or whatever file source that isn't edited. And then that gets a little technical when the graphic designers out there will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you got to be careful what you're sharing and everything. I didn't mean to go on to a complete tangent there but I guess that's really all I wanted to mention about this Tesla Corporation doing, this is the best part. The letter that was written was called "All Your Patents Are Belong to You," and that's kind of it's a reference to an old video game. I can't remember the video game. I wish Bile was here to.
All your base to us.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's the CEO Elon Musk, which I believe he's the PayPal guy. There's some other company he's working with, but it's good to see some more of the leaning prominent companies coming out. So, but that's really all I had to say about that. Annie, wouldn't you like an electric car?
I definitely would, and I like that they're doing that. I think it to do it even more efficiently, because as companies take their designs and start doing it better or start doing it cheaper and release it, it motivates Tesla to make it better. If you want to be the one selling cars, you have to keep ahead. And that's why a lot of industries don't have any progression, because they have a monopoly over this technology and there's no reason to improve it.
It's interesting. I'm going to get a little conspiratorial on you here. Hope you don't mind. But a lot of the auto industry, I mean, you can go all the way back to the oil companies wanting these gas-powered cars. That's why they squashed Saturn. Had a really good electric car back in like the mid to late 90s, and that just got squashed. I think there's a documentary out on possibly Netflix, or if you do a Google search for it, it was like the death of the electric car. I just think it's funny, here we are a decade later, everybody's concerned about, carbon gases and all that stuff. So it's like, oh, let's go back to electric. And it's like, oh, had we not spent 10 years ignoring that technology, we might actually have, an efficient battery right now that, wind up taking up space in a landfill somewhere. So, that's kind of like the dirty side of all the electric stuff. You got a whole battery bank underneath of your back seat. When they go bad, you got to do something with them. But luckily, a lot of that stuff, the internal components of batteries are recyclable and everything are reusable to stuff. But I really want an electric motorcycle for some reason. I just thought it'd be really cool to have an electric motorcycle that I can hop on, and hopefully the charge will last a little bit longer than my cell phone. I can get a whole day of cruising out of it. But you're just nice and quiet, unless you want to be. Like, you almost have to like install something on the vehicle to make it louder so other cars actually see you.
That's something I guess and maybe I just don't have a good enough of the technology, but that worries me, how stuff dies. So if I run out of gas in the middle of a long road trip, it takes me 5 hours to fill up again, but how long would it take to recharge my car across the country and start running out?
Valid question. And technology is coming too. The article I read, which was an electric bus. Your what do you call it? Your public transportation in the city. And at every one of these bus stops, the bus would pull into the bus stop, and the contact would be made between the top of the bus and basically this like archway over top of where the bus pulls in. They would make contact, and I believe it was 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 or something like that. So that could be a little bit annoying for a commuter to like sit there and wait for this bus, but the bus can recharge and get all the way to the next stop without having to do it. You know what? It might have been seconds. I'll have to dig it back up. But the concept is there. It's like, okay, so this bus frequent stops all over the place. Why not have a way for it to charge very, very quickly while it's there? And that's another thing that Tesla's been working on, is like just these real quick chargers. And the other thing I'd like to see is you pull up to a station and swap a battery out real quick.
Keep a backup battery in your car, like have a pre-charged one.
Sure. And people have been carrying fuel tanks with eons, especially if you go back in the woods in your Jeep. And Ed Regan, we will go four-wheeling with you, I promise. But yeah, you bring an extra tank of fuel, that way all the way out in the woods, and God forbid somebody punctures or just runs out of gas while they're out there. It's like, okay, you got enough to get back out. So the same can be said about any road trip. But if you were able to pull up to a parking garage, pull in, and it's like, okay, you're getting ready to leave. You check your little voltage meter, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna have quite enough to make it home. Let me take this battery out and go swap it with this one over here on this rack. I don't know, maybe somebody's charging for that. Actually, this is giving me a really great idea. I'm not gonna. I know.
Our show.
I'm not gonna say any more. I might have to go make a decentralized autonomous company for BitShares. We'll save that for another episode. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, please what you think about this electronic battery swap out thing. That might be fun. Can you imagine if your Jetta was electric? How far you could get without having to refill the tank?
Yeah, it would probably be cheaper, I'm guessing. I don't know how much do people charge for... Like in parking garages, it's usually free to plug in your car, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never plugged anything in. I'd like to. I don't know. That's an interesting. Maybe if you plug in, you always get the value when you pull into a parking garage. Maybe if you use that particular spot, that gets added onto your voucher or something, and you pay a little bit more when you're leaving or something like that. Yeah, but you don't have to go to the gas station either. You're already nice up. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. I know you just learned how to pump your own gas.
Yeah, that's comes with being from New Jersey. We don't know how to pump gas. I did learn, but I had been on several, I've been out of New Jersey before moving down here, obviously, and most of the time I would find a guy at the gas station to help me. I would walk into the store, and people were always willing to help. But now I officially know how to do it on my own.
You were the damsel in distress who couldn't put more fuel in her car.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I guess so. Don't worry, I won't judge you. Okay. I don't know, Annie. I wonder if it's time to bring out our special guest at that time.
Yeah. I'll bring Kitteh in.
Oh.
You already told everybody.
I didn't tell them that was the special guest.
Yes, you did.
All right, so I guess we kind of gave it away. I was trying to make it a little surprise, but you'll see when we get back. And you guys brace yourselves. You're gonna fall in love with this thing. I'm so thrilled. It like I was saying earlier in the show. I was kind of freaking out on Sunday when we were driving around up in Pennsylvania. I knew we were still. No matter when we left, checking out all these wedding venues, we still had 2 hours to go before we could get home. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I wonder if Kitty's pooped yet. She just had a surgery. She got spayed, and it was like, oh, I wonder if licking at her wound or anything like that. Those cones, the e-collar, this freaking thing. And we got the smallest one we could find, and we bring it home, and it's like, there's no way this thing's going on our cat. We even thought about taking it and flipping it upside down so it kind of looked like she was wearing a skirt, maybe just cover up the spot where she was licking at or whatever. But she seems to be doing fine now. So that might still have been a fun little experiment to put the e-collar on her as some sort of a skirt or something. But I'm gonna let Annie handle all the dressing up of the kitty. I'll play with her, and I'll help clean out the litter box and whatnot. But I promise I will never dress up Kitty unless it's a cool Anarchy T-shirt. As you guys can see, I'm rocking my Agris shirt. Don't ask me where this came from. Annie got it for me for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I love it. And I try not to wear it often so it doesn't fade away and have holes in it and whatnot. You guys will notice this. Since we're doing a video show, I'm going to try and have a cool T-shirt for us every week. I forgot to mention it last week. I was wearing that Voluntarist shirt, and that a buddy of ours named who was a whole bunch of T-shirts. I'm not sure if he's still doing all that stuff, but you can. He does a bunch of video. YouTube uploads. If you just go and search for who is Nate Cox on, you will definitely find him. Oh, guy, I think I just heard a little mew. I'm not sure. I'm sure she will be bringing the kitty back any time now. But there was something else I wanted to bring up on the show last week, right before we ran out of time. 30-minute show, you don't have a lot of time to work with. But I wanted to bring up this government auction of the bitcoins that were seized from Silk Road. I don't know if a lot of you guys are familiar with what Silk Road was, or what Bitcoin is for that matter, but I'll try and give you the nutshell version of both. Silk Road was essentially a Craigslist online. Oh, and we'll get back to that. Oh, who is that little girl? Look at the little guy. Oh my god. Get her, put her up close to the camera there, so everybody. Yeah. No, she's good.
Come on, we're gonna get close to the camera, baby.
Oh, this little girl has melted our hearts, and she's totally she's having a little stage fright. It seems. I guess she's not used to being on camera. You're already all over her Facebook now, Izzy.
I'm gonna let her roam the room a little bit.
Oh, you closed the door. All right, we're good. Yeah, we don't want her getting in the closet there. Oh, there she goes. She's gonna go check out our little beer brew kit. Welcome to Space Worm 1 there, Kitteh. Orbiting high above the planet Earth.
Maybe you'll see her in the back. Plays and wanders around. But she was not having it. It took me a while. I had to pull her out. She was hiding in her cave. I think she knew. She just had a feeling.
Oh, right, yeah. A little stage fright.
This lady's gonna grab me.
Well, I mean,
bring me in front of a camera.
They do say kitties are the anarchists of the pet community. They do what they want. And they don't ask for permission or forgiveness, for that matter. She's over there.
Oh.
Yeah. One of us better keep an eye on her, because
there's many places to go in our studio. Also known as the Oval Office, if you can't tell from the seal.
Yes.
Behind us.
Yeah, we put Bush in detention. He's hiding for now, but I'm sure he will come back out here shortly. That's one of the other things we want to do. Like I'm still not sold on our little setup here. I do have a board behind us, but it'd be cooler if we could get centered. I don't know. We'll play around with it some more. Hopefully this is Alpha Week, and when the big one's coming up, the big debut of Voluntary Virtues Network. And thanks again to Michael Shanklin for slinging this whole thing together. I wonder if he even had any idea how big this was going to get. I mean, I believe there's something like it was like 1,400 likes, and there's like 300 members or something. I'm probably seriously screwing up those numbers. Now, as you left me and were digging the kitty out of the cardboard, seriously, cardboard box that we put in there. It's a pretty cardboard box, but it's got like a little scratch pad on it, a little spot for her to chill underneath, and there she goes again. And she got like a little disco ball looking thing that she'll sit there and smack around. She's gonna be a boxer. I swear she's gonna be a boxer. The way she works that speed bag. But what the hell was I getting at?
While I was gone,
while you were over there getting Kitteh, digging her out of her box, I started letting everybody know about this Silk Road Bitcoin heist, if you will. And I call it a heist for a reason, because let me just give you the gist of this. If you go to RT.com, Russia Today, and just look for Bitcoin Silk Road seized, you'll find out. What is the guy's name? Okay, Robert is the handle for the guy who put this whole thing together. And essentially what you could do was go on there and pay with not only Bitcoin, but I believe other types of cryptocurrencies. I never went on there myself and had a transaction. I browsed around a little bit once, but I really got a bad vibe. Not a bad vibe, but a bad reputation because of certain substances that were attainable through this website, a la and some of the harder stuff too. So, you know, it wasn't just like some pot or, you know, Coke, I guess. It was you could literally get whatever you wanted on there. And the interesting thing that the media spun it in a way that it almost made it sound like a really bad thing, and it made it sound like there was just going to be like all these people running around getting all drugged up, when in actuality it had the opposite effect. It was private transactions that were set up ahead of time that actually made it safer people to purchase the whatever suits their fancy.
Didn't they have kind of code of conduct of what things could and couldn't be sold? So I thought that there was some kind of rule that you could not sell something that would be exploiting or infrauding, is that a word, or hurting another person. And I don't know if that was true. So
well, I don't know. I mean, because you could go on some meth if you wanted. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, you could go on there and buy weapons if you wanted.
I was talking about child pornography specifically.
Oh, okay.
Because I went to a conference, actually, and for people who don't know, I'm a social worker, which is very weird to have an anarchist in the social work world. But I went to a conference where they were basically demonizing Silk Road and saying that,
that's right. I forgot you told me
saying
about
that people buy child pornography on there, and I was saying I don't think that's accurate. I thought that policies against things, you know, specifically like that were harming a person or a child.
Okay, that part I don't
could
know.
Be wrong.
I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny
Could
that.
you sell a human slave on there, for instance? Like that, I think that there was. I'll have to look into it.
Well,
get back to you.
I mean, it doesn't matter anymore because Silk Road is down.
But isn't there Silk Road 2, or is that down?
Silk Road 2 is down. Okay. Correct.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure it's probably going to wind up being like a sort of a Pirate Bay thing where they just keep popping up all over the place. Now, I honestly I don't know, but to me, when it comes to a person having a single product, be it a weapon, be it drugs, be it, God forbid, child pornography, or apparently there's a market for that, be it kitties, be it used guitars, be it, you know, an epic cowboy hat. If you have something to sell and there's a demand for it, that's my whole thing. I mean, sell it. If the person that needs it can get it. I'm not here to justify what's moral to be sold and what's not. I think that's kind of an underlying thing that's in the purchaser and the seller themselves. I mean, if they're out there using this tool, which essentially Silk Road was a tool to connect people who had, you know, goods and services they wanted to exchange, that shouldn't get shut down just because some pervert out there wants to do some dirty things. I mean, it's like that get exposed this way too. I'm not saying, you know, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't advocate shutting it down at all.
What I'm getting at though is what happened with, you know, this guy has I think it's Robert Ulbrich, and I believe his mother is actually speaking at PorcFest this year. So anyway, the guy has not been tried or sentenced to anything, but they have seized roughly $18 million worth of his Bitcoin. Okay? And the Department of Justice is basically hosting an auction to get these things sold back out. So the Department of Justice is going to make a killing off, even if they sell it on the cheap, they're going to make a few $1 million off of all this Bitcoin and essentially drop the value of Bitcoin from where it's almost like $600 today per Bitcoin, and it's going to make it plummet down to who knows what, I don't know, maybe $20 a Bitcoin or whatever. You know, and as we know, the media likes to do their twist on it. See, like, oh, there goes Bitcoin, like that was fun while it lasted. Too bad, guys. Like, wish it would have worked out for you better, but now, you know, we can get back to using our Federal Reserve notes. Kitty, what are you doing to my guitar? Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She can play with it. Play us a little tune back there. So essentially what I'm getting at is, yes, apparently your Bitcoin can be seized, which is it's kind of a deterrent to some people. But on the bright side, if and when this does happen and Bitcoin crashes, I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to buy up as much of this stuff as I can, because Bitcoin's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, guys. I mean, it's still going through growing pains, but 5 years from now, it's going to be rock solid, and we've got all these other alternative coins coming off of it. And I think we're going to save it for possibly Wednesday's show, which once again everybody will be back here at 6:30 on Wednesday, just for our shorter show. I don't know, we might try and put something in there with us, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about the cryptocurrencies and everything. Just in the interest of time, I'm gonna suggest that everybody good hard look at going on with this. I mean, how is it that the Department of Justice can seize all this Bitcoin and then sell it? Like, do they just attain ownership because they've stolen from somebody, and like they're going to auction it off to people? And it's like, do the people who are buying these auctioned Bitcoins, do they even know where it came from? And is that immoral to purchase these Bitcoins if you know they've been stolen from something as awesome as what Silk Road was? I don't know. It's just it's a very, very deterring issue that it's upsetting to me. And we've got the DC or Bitcoin, the Bitcoin on the Beltway event coming up. We're not actually going to be able to attend that. I believe that's going on during PorcFest or right at the beginning.
No, I think this upcoming weekend. So
okay,
it would be the first weekend of PorcFest.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the timing's a little off, and we've got all of our money tied up to go into PorcFest. But excuse me, guys. Yeah, all I had on that one there. I don't want to. Man, I'm kind of just about it, babe. Like, that is not cool. We need something fun now. I think. I mean, I know this is more fun for me than it is for you.
Okay.
You're not a napper, are you, honey?
Oh, I end up drinking all night, pretty.
Even if you nap before noon?
Then I went back to sleep after school.
Okay. I've been taking naps after work on the regular for my entire life until PorcFest. Well, no, I can't even say that. Until you moved down to Maryland with me. My thing, I would get home from work, lay down on my bed, and I would literally just see if I can fall asleep. And if I can't fall asleep, I would just close my eyes for 15, 20 minutes. And it was the greatest thing to me. And apparently there's a whole bunch of science to that. Just briefly, I'm going to roll through these different time things right here. If you go to the interwebs and you go into a search thing and search for how long to nap for the biggest brain benefits, you will find the article that I'm referencing. I'm not going to link it because I don't like the name of the web. So apparently 10 to 20 minutes is a power nap, and that was news to me looking into this. I thought a power nap was like there's a solid hour long nap.
No.
Yeah. Oh, so you're an expert on.
I don't nap, but I knew.
For 10 to 20 minutes. Now, see, that's the thing. It takes me 10 minutes to fall asleep when I lay down. So I don't know if it counts once you fall asleep. Like, I really wish there was an app on my cell phone that started a timer as soon as I fell asleep. Like, it could connect to my cerebral cortex or something and just know when I'm asleep. But, just give it another 5 years and we'll be there. Anyway, so 20 minutes. The power nap is ideal for a boost in alertness and energy, experts say. This length usually limits you to the lighter stages of non-rapid eye movement. Sleep making it non-rapid eye movement sleep, making it easier to hit the ground running after waking up. Which I feel like that's usually what happens when I lay down and I close my eyes and I just don't fall asleep. You know what I mean? Like I lay down for 15 minutes. Because I'll just be sitting there like, oh well, crap, I'm not gonna fall asleep, so I better get up. And then when I get up, I've got like a little hop in my step. Apparently 30 minutes. Some studies show sleeping this long may cause inertia, a hangover like groggy feeling that lasts for up to 30 minutes after waking up, before the nap's restorative benefits become apparent.
That is always a problem. I feel so much worse after a nap than I did even being really sleepy and wanting a nap.
Now, my favorite nap, because if I fall asleep for a half hour, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go all the way up to my favorite nap, which is the 60-minute nap. This nap is best for improvement in remembering facts, faces, and includes low-wave sleep, the deepest type. The downside, some grogginess upon waking up, which I understand that too. But I always feel that way after I take a nap. And I just feel like anything under that 60 minutes, it's like I'm not... what was the point? You know, I just wasted my time. I feel like when I do take a 60-minute nap, I'm good to go. Now, apparently, this is the one that you're supposed to avoid. So if you are going to lay down and take a nap, it's almost best to set your alarm to go off in an hour, or if you're like me, an hour and 10 minutes after you lay down, because 90 minutes is a full cycle of sleep, meaning the later and deeper stages, including REM, typically likened to the dreaming stage. This leads to improved emotional and procedural memory, like riding a bike or playing the piano, and creativity. A nap of this length typically avoids sleep inertia, making it easier to wake up. So
that's supposed to be the best kind of nap, it sounds like.
I guess so. And, you know, truth be told, I mean, that's usually what winds up happening, too.
An hour and a half, yeah.
If you get to an hour, it's like, what's another half hour?
Yeah, why don't I just stay here all night, is what I say.
Now, how can that make us more free, babe?
Well, you are free to take naps, and I am free to wake.
That's what comes with being a babe. We do what we want, right? So, interesting article. It's definitely fun. It's funny. They have an image of this guy napping on the couch, which I don't like to do. If I'm going to go take a nap, I'm taking a nap in bed. But I think that's just because we have such a short couch. And I honestly, I'm a night owl as it is, so I feel like when I get home from work after 8 hours, I really do need something to regenerate. But then all of a sudden I'll be up all night. But whatever. What I'm about it's good to it's just good to have everything going that we've got going on. Got a new kitty. Hi, baby. She's sitting there looking at me right now. Oh, you're so cute. You sure you want to come on the show real quick? We've only got like 10 more minutes there, kitty, if you want to come join us. No, okay, she's good. Maybe I'll grab her real quick before we get off here. But, so I don't, sweetheart, you got anything going on over there?
Not really, no. Just following you.
Oh, I know what I wanted to bring up. Interesting little tidbit. I don't know how many of our viewers, listeners are in the Maryland vicinity, or are fans of J. Roddy Waters in the business, or are fans of beer. I don't know. I'm already done. Can't wait for this to be over so I can go refill my beer. But we're going to be going down to Flying Dog Brewery at the end of July?
August.
It was August.
It's August 23rd, whatever that Saturday is. I think it's the 23rd.
I think it's the 23rd. So at Flying Dog Brewery, one of our favorite bands, the J. Roddy Waters in the Business, is going to be playing.
J. Roddy Walston.
Wait, that's why I say J. Rod. J. Rod in the Business. And for those of you who may not have heard them, you probably have heard the song, and it's like, Heavy Bells, Heavy Bells. There's some other words to that song, too, I think. But for the most part, it's like happy bells, and like you just kind of want to jam to it. Look them up. If you can come out and join us. It's going to be a hell of a good time, and it's only $25 a ticket.
It's like outdoor little festival style.
It's at a brewery, okay, and this brewery is selling their special home beer for $4. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a good price for their beers. That's about what we pay at the grocery store, probably. I mean, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, some of their 6-packs can get up to like $12, $13, but.
And they said that they would have special beers, I believe. So some you can mix it up, maybe things we can't find at the store. So that'll be exciting.
And so Flying Dog, that's they're the ones that use what's his name, Ralph Steadman artwork. I'm not going to point the camera to any of it, but some of you guys might be familiar with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Can't think of the guy's name now. Anyway, the with that movie, the guy that movie was based off of. Whatever. Anyway, he's got a very, very interesting artistic, and it's all over. Like maybe you've seen the Flying Dog Raging Bitch, or I think what was that other one I just got? I think you're sipping on it right now. It's called Bloodline. So like everything just kind of relates somehow to dogs. So I think that's why I've always loved them, because I love dogs. But I had no idea they were just right down here in Frederick, Maryland. I mean, we got like an hour to cruise down there. We got ourselves a hotel, like what we're like either Walton's or a cab ride away. But that's going to be a lot of fun. So, what PorcFest, babe?
I don't know. Do we have any PorcFest updates?
Maybe one. I mean, let's see. So PorcFest officially starts in 6 days.
We have a whole nother show before PorcFest.
Well, we got a show on Wednesday, and we're going to be doing Monday, the 22nd again, before we leave for PorcFest.
And then our Wednesday show while we're at PorcFest will probably be pre-recorded. I don't think the internet there is good enough for us to broadcast. So.
I concur. Not to mention, there's no telling what we're going to be doing at 6:30 on Wednesday.
Well, he's pretty much every day at PorcFest anyway. So. And
that brings me to the point. The Thursday, the 26th at PorcFest. I have been graciously asked by the good Angel Clark to do her show in her absence. I believe she decided she's just going to kind of like let some people up at PorcFest do her show, and she's just going to take a little break. I believe she's not coming to PorcFest, unfortunately. I think this is the first year we won't see Angel Clark at PorcFest. But her and Famous Dave, they're going to go do their own thing and take a little break from it. I mean, she's been going rock solid for I don't even know how many years, 5 days a week. Live for 2 hours. But that's going to be very exciting. So, Annie, you're going to be joining me?
Yeah, why not?
Good answer. And, we're probably going to bounce around and try and find, a guest for, either one of the hours or, one of the longer or something like that. We'll keep everybody posted more on that when we get a little bit closer. And then I guess that Saturday I'll be hosting the Freedom Fiends with one of our many rotating people on the Freedom Fiends podcast, Deanna Crap. I'm sorry, Deanna. Diana Crap. I can't remember.
You don't know which one. It looks like Diana to me from the way it's spelled, okay. So we're gonna go with that.
We had a nice long conversation a couple of weeks ago about what we're going to talk about at PorcFest, and actually the list was pretty interesting. We decided we were going to talk about abortion, freeing the tips, just the tip. Okay, it's a circumcision thing, and hypocristians. Which is a you know what? I've always wanted to say this. No, crap, I didn't coin this term. I think I got that from Alex Jones, actually. But yeah, hypocristians.
You think you coined it?
No, no.
Okay.
I wanted to say I did.
You
right?
got it from Alex
I got really
Jones.
excited about it for a second, and I was like, no, that wasn't me. Just got into an argument with my. Sorry, Mom, I love you. But so, it's okay. And so, Free the Tips is this this thing going on about it's just such a funny name. It's kind of like Save the Tatas, Free the Tips. It's an anti-circumcision thing. I really don't like getting into all that stuff. I don't like getting into the abortion stuff. Just when it comes to babies and their well-being and everything, I'm of the stance that it's really, really every situation is different. Every individual is different, and and we go. Sorry, the kitty's scratching away on her walls in here. Yeah, we got to get her over here so she can say goodbye to everybody. Oh, okay. She's like, I'm good. I found all these things. She better not be chewing on my. All right.
She's terrified.
Oh, well, okay. So hopefully she'll poke her head back out here and everybody can say goodbye to her. I feel I somehow I have a feeling she's going to be a regular on the show in like a month. We'll get her a little more housebroken. But yeah, she's our little angel, and I'm so glad we actually got her home. Annie, I think you did a good job. Isn't there when?
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a big fan of my guitar. We're gonna have issues. You can see it right here. So here, let's see who we got coming up next. Where is my?
We got
my
an invite
calendar?
for it. It's someone with Josie Wales as a guest, I believe. I just got the Facebook invite and looked at it.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Well, why didn't I get
But
the
we
invite?
actually,
WTF?
I don't know. We actually had Josie on the Beer and Bullshit show. Sorry, Beer and BS show. On the week we were in, so we actually didn't get to talk to her. But her and Mike Salvi were on. That's the other show that we do on Wednesday nights about beer.
Yeah, that's a fun one too, and we should plug that. If you guys are ever, there's so many good shows on here on Wednesdays, but we do this thing from 8 o'clock. Is it 8 or 8:30? 8:30 standard time till whenever we run out of beer, pretty much. We've actually been jumping out of it a little bit early here lately, just because Thursday morning hangovers really suck. But it is a lot of fun, and maybe we'll have to start doing that a little bit more during the show and just kind of introducing what we've been drinking or whatever. But that show, we've got like 6 regulars, and there's always a special guest. Like I think Jordan Page is coming on soon.
It's definitely an anarchy type show. It's
absolutely.
totally unstructured. Nobody ever knows what the heck we're going to talk about until we get there. And
it's funny too, because that's something we're realizing now is like coming over here and doing this show on Google Hangouts where it's just the two of us. You gotta keep going. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are out of time, and the clock is telling me yes, we are out. Really appreciate everybody that joined us and is watching. I hope you'll share this with your friends. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, tell us. If you did enjoy it,
no, don't
tell
do
us.
that.
No, I want to know the people that are on my shit list. So, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the interwebs. Thanks for stopping by. You can say bye.
Okay, bye.
Say bye, Kitteh. Bye, Kitteh. Oh.